What is going on, everybody, and welcome to another Minecraft tutorial slash template add-on download thingy. I kind of made this template that uses animations and animation controllers, and we're going to kind of go over that, and I'll explain some stuff and what you could do with it. But I wanted to give you guys this cool another option for timing. A lot of people inside of like function files don't really have like an ability or don't know how to maybe create certain timers for certain commands to activate based off what the player is doing. So I created a simple template for pretty much that, and I also put in a simple one for whenever any entity that has any kind of an event. It could be a custom event, it doesn't even matter. You could use this and kind of follow the template as well. So just to give you an example, we have a cow here, and I made it to where every single cow in the game, the moment it is alive, it will turn into a baby, and they have speed for 10 seconds. Then they grow up and they are cleared of the speed. So look at that. That is pretty neat. And for the player side, basically if I take off running, and in 10 seconds I will be given slowness, and that's pretty much it for that. And then when I stop, it'll come back again. So there we go. I was given slowness, you can see it. And I could continue run again, and it will give me slowness again. And if I stop, it won't give me slowness. So it's pretty neat. But that's pretty much what we're going to be doing, and I'll kind of show you that. So you can see those cows that spawned over there, which is pretty cool. So you guys could create really cool stuff if you get creative with this template. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the files, and I'll kind of explain a little bit more. I think that was worse on the screen, actually. So yeah, we'll just keep it here. So I went ahead and used it inside of my actual vein miner, and it was just a template thing, and I need to change that. But inside of the files here, let's take a look at the entities. I have a cow and I have a player. So let's load up the player and we'll take a look. Now I'm going to explain something about where this scripts animate and animation controllers and the animation files. Let me explain something first. If you have the scripts inside of the animate and you have the category, say, meow, and it's classified as a controller animation, meow, that means it will forever run always like a repeating command block inside of the files of a behavior pack. If you do not have something up here that's in the scripts of the animate file, it will only run when something tells it to run, and that's what we're going to be using here. And this is the timer 1 animation, timer 1. So it's not a controller animation, it's just an animation. So keep that in mind whenever you put stuff up here. If I was to put timer 1 up here below meow, then it will always constantly run. And keep in mind I have a Minecraft timer right here that's already in the player files. The reason I'm using this is because it already exists and it's an event. So let's go ahead and take a look at the cow real quick. This one, as you guys can see, I have the timer and switch inside of the scripts, so it's going to always constantly play both of these. And the controller animation is switch, and the timer and the animation is timer. But keep in mind, the file that you guys will be able to download in the description, I left the cow with the switch and the switch animation controller, but I did not put the animation controller file inside of the download because I will let you guys do that. It is not needed. I only added it in case you wanted to play around with an animation controller. The only thing that the cow used was an animation. That is it. It did not use any animation controller. And I'll show you guys that in a minute because we have some custom events. I'm going to leave this up and running just so we can look at some of the files here in a second. Let's go to animations, and let's go ahead and take a look at the first one, timer. Timer is for the cow, and basically inside the timeline, the moment the animation starts, it's going to pretty much basically say at self, which is a cow, Minecraft entity born, and that is the custom event. So if you guys want to know what events are, you can go through like the bottom and it'll be the events here. We're going to be doing entity born, which basically adds Minecraft cow baby. So it basically makes a cow turn into a baby. The moment a cow is born, because we're always constantly running this inside of the file itself up at the top, like I was saying. So if we come up here, it's always constantly running right here. That means the moment a cow is alive, it will turn into a baby, and at 1/10 of a second, it will give it speed for 10 seconds, and at 9 seconds, it will pretty much make it grow up, and that's another custom event. And keep in mind, you can use this with not just regular Minecraft entities. If you create a brand new entity, and maybe you guys are familiar with doing that, you're familiar with making events, this would be pretty cool if you kind of want to spice things up on how your entities behave using an animation with custom commands and forcing it to do events that normally they might not have done in a certain situation. And after that, it will clear the effects of the cow. The animation length is how long the animation lasts. So if you wanted to put 100 seconds or whatever, you can do that. And you can have different, you can have pretty much as many as you want of these, which is pretty neat. So that is it for the cow's animation. Now, timer 1 is for the player. It's set to 10 and the animation length is 15. This will affect the player with slowness 33 true. That will pretty much stop the player kind of like in a fatigue form after they were sprinting for roughly around 10 seconds, and the animation lasts 15. Now, this one is not constantly running. I had to be sprinting for this animation to run, which is cool. Now, that's what we're going to get into on the animation controller for the player. The player has an animation controller set up for Meow, which is the animation controller up here. So if you guys aren't familiar with how custom animation controllers work, we have the Meow. That's what it was set inside of the entities folder, or the player's JSON file, and it's doing a transition for on and off timer, and basically testing on the on timer, the entity, the player, is sprinting, and the off timer is it's not sprinting. So on the on timer, it's going to run the animation timer 1 and then set the event on itself, which is the player, until all animation is finished. And then we're going to do the on transition. So when all of the animation is finished, it's going to look, is the player still sprinting or not sprinting? If it's not sprinting, it's going to turn it off and then start the off timer, then run the animation again, but it successfully cannot run because we're not sprinting, and we have it classified to be only sprinting. So basically, if the player is sprinting, it'll run the animation. If the player stops sprinting, it stops the animation. If they start sprinting again, it'll continue the animation, and this is kind of like the example of how you would do that for the animation controller and to make it into an animation. But that is pretty much it, guys. It's kind of a funny tutorial, I guess. You can download it in the description. You can get these files. You can play around with it and do whatever it is you want. I just thought it was cool because you don't really need animation controllers for certain things if you just wanted to put custom commands like this inside of it. So for people that might be wondering, I have the animations in timer 1 for the player. Every 10 seconds, I could affect the player with slowness. Every 10 seconds the entire time they're playing a game. And you can run a function. So if there's something like, say, every 45 seconds you would like a function to run, which could be anything, so like those weird cursed Minecraft things like where every 10 minutes something random happens, this is perfect for that because you don't need to know how to do scoreboards, you don't need to know how to do all of this other stuff. So if you guys aren't very familiar with how to do commands and how to get it within a timing limit, timers, and set stuff up, this is a fast and easy way to do it. If you're not very familiar with events, doing player stuff, custom entities, and you kind of want to do something set on a timer through commands, this was more of that video. But I went ahead and gave the intermediate and advanced levels by showing you how to do events that are ran through an animation for the cow. So if you guys are actually interested in learning how to do that, this is the perfect template. You guys can download it and everything in the description. Let me know how you like it. Let me know anything else. Crazy Craft and Autocraft is getting an update very soon. I'm waiting on 2 people's permission, and I should have another download very, very soon, guys. So keep in mind for that. Sorry it's taking so long. Also, Rosecraft, I'm going to have a sneak peek trailer pretty soon. I'm working on some cool stuff, and I need some help with a couple guys, as well as some cool marketplace stuff that I'm working on. Hopefully you guys will be interested in all of that. I'm also working on a website, so if any content creators that are wishing to post things on a website, keep a lookout for that. I'll be making a separate video talking about all of that stuff, but I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm DAKONBLACKROSE, and I'm out. Bye!